Hi guys, it's Nicole with Cozy Cloud Knits. So today I'm going to show you how to create a bow that you can add to your animal snuggler's head. So you can add it to Marley Duck or one of your plushies or Zara Lion. So to begin, you're going to leave a very long tail end of yarn. I usually make it about 3 feet long. And then once you do that, you're going to create a slip knot. So loop that over your hand and pull it through. And you want your slip knot to be on the smaller side, so about 1 finger's width. So if you need to adjust it all, you can pull on it gently just to make it smaller. So now that I have my slip knot, I'm going to work. This is going to be my center spot, so we're going to mark that. So I would use a stitch marker or a claw clip, whatever you use. And with that tail end of yarn, I'm going to chain 6. So don't count your slip knot as the first one. This is 1, 2, 3. I'm making all of my chain loops really tiny, so they're 1 finger's width max. Okay, so once you've created 6 loops, you're going to take that tail end of yarn, poke it through that last loop, and just pull it tight to secure it in place. Okay, so this is what your first side should look like. Now we're going to begin working on the other side. So where you place that stitch marker, you're going to find that small hole, and I like to tighten it as much as possible. So I put my finger right in that hole, and that's your slip knot. So you should be able to tighten it. And I keep it marked with the stitch marker so that I don't lose track of where I'm at. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other side. So create 6 more loops, a chain of 6 working in the opposite direction. And you want to keep your loops all fairly small, about 1 finger's width. And once you create your chain of 6, you're just going to trim that piece of yarn so that you have a tail end about 6 inches long. And then you're going to do the same thing that we did on the other side. You're going to take that and you're going to pull it all the way through to secure it in place. And now you're going to use where you have the stitch marker as the center of your bow. So you can take that stitch marker, and I usually leave it there just until I at least finish my first loop. You're going to take the tail end of yarn and you're going to pull it right through where that stitch marker is. So pull it nice and tight. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the goal is to get these tail ends of yarn so that they're in the center of your chain. So you're going to take that tail end of yarn and pull it all the way through. You should have one end that's longer than the other, which is okay. And this part, sometimes people like to do it differently, but I like to secure it in place. So I take my 2 tail ends and I flip it over and I just tie a knot to secure it in place. And then you can either use this as your bow, or I like to take my longer tail end of yarn and wrap it around a couple times just to create that center like you would see in a normal bow. And then I knot it again with my tail end of yarn. So normally when I do this, I end up having 2 tail ends of yarn that are about 4 to 6 inches long. And then I will use that to attach to my snuggler's head. So this is what it should look like. So usually I put it sideways so that you can kind of see the two sides of the bow. So now I'll just show you how to attach it real quick. So you're just going to take your two tail ends of yarn, and I normally just find exactly where I want my bow to go, and I pull my tail end of yarn all the way through. So this is what it should look like. And then I normally just secure this with a double knot. I trim my ends. And then I just tuck those tail ends of yarn right into the head so that they're not visible. So this is what it should look like.